Stop saving for retirement and start spending money now. Can I retire at 60 with $800,000 saved for retirement? That's what we're going to look at today. We have a couple, they're 55 years old, and what we're going to look at is spending more money now. Spend your money now. Enjoy your money now. Stop saving for retirement as long as you're doing the right things, and have a good retirement plan, a financial EKG that's going to get you to retirement, through retirement, protect your ability to stay in retirement. You ready to look at this? Let's go into the software right now. All right, here's what we got. We got Jimmy and Sharon. It's Jimmy and Sharon Frugal. Thank you for the name recommendation off of YouTube. Obviously, the names have been changed to protect the innocent. Jimmy is a welder and he's self-employed. Sharon works part-time at the church. Now, Jimmy's income is $80,000 a year. Sharon's income is $30,000 a year, and they're both 55 years old. And we're looking at retiring around 60 to 61 years old. We're going to look at 61 at this point, but we're looking right around 60 or 61 years old. Now, here's what I want you to notice first. Jimmy's self-employed. Sharon works on staff at a church. So Jimmy, when we look at his taxes right offhand, his Social Security and Medicare is self-employed, right? So he has a higher tax that's due for Social Security and Medicare. Now, if we go over to Sharon, right? We go to Sharon, she's salaried. She has a lower tax on her Social Security and Medicare. That's just a little tidbit of something that needs to be factored into your retirement plan. That's why it's so important, the small details you need to be thinking about. I'm not talking about the free software that you can run online. I'm talking about having a detailed financial plan. If you want one from me, contact me below. The information is there. Let's put together a financial EKG, a comprehensive retirement plan to get you to retirement, through retirement, and protect your ability to stay there. Now, Social Security, we're looking at both Jimmy and Sharon taking Social Security at 62. Now, Jimmy's his primary benefit is $2,035. Sharon's going to get a spousal benefit because her benefit record, she just started working again. She raised the kids, she homeschooled the kids, a lot like my wife does. We homeschool our 3 children. God bless her, because that is an incredible job. It's a tougher job than anything that I will ever do in my industry, okay? Now, she's going to take a spousal benefit of $651, okay? So her earnings record, or her Social Security, is actually less than half of what Jimmy's is, but because Jimmy's going to claim early and she's going to claim early, we're actually only going to get 32% of a spousal benefit. Now, Jimmy's going to take Social Security at 62, which means he's going to get 70% of his full retirement benefit. If we waited till 67, he would get 100% of his full retirement benefit. If he waited till 70, he would get 124% of his full retirement benefit. But because we're going to take it early, he's going to get a reduced benefit of 70%, which is also going to give Sharon, his spouse, a reduced benefit as a spousal benefit. Okay? Following along? Perfect. Now, there aren't any pensions, right? Jimmy's self-employed and Sharon works at the church, so no pensions. From an asset standpoint, here's what we've got. Jimmy's got an IRA with $450,000 in it. He's doing the max contribution, $625 per month. Sharon has a Roth IRA, which they've been contributing to as a spousal Roth IRA, but now she's working, so she's contributing the max to her Roth IRA. And they also have a joint account, a joint brokerage account, which I call a freedom fund, which they're putting $250 a month into. So, essentially, let me pull out my old calculator and let's look at how much we're saving. $625, and $250. They're saving $1,500 per month for retirement. $1,500 times 12 is $18,000. Let's go back to their income. We've got $80,000 plus $30,000. So what is that? 110, 90, 100, 110. Okay, $18,000 divided into 110 is what? 16.3. So they're saving 15 to 20% of their gross annual income. They're saving 16.3%. So they're doing exactly what we want them to do in the sense of saving for retirement. What I want to convince them to do, they're conservative. They're hard-working, conservative Americans. And I'm not talking politically conservative. I'm talking about fiscally conservative. They've worked hard. They're saving their money. They want to see this money last throughout their retirement and for their children. I want to convince them to spend a little bit more now to enjoy themselves. Because I know that with Jimmy's job, hard working job, that his knees, his back, his neck, his shoulders, his elbows, his feet are going to be bothering him later in life because he is working hard. And so we need to look at this and say, how can we spend more money now to enjoy and have a solid retirement plan? All right, so they have a home. It's worth $450,000 and they don't have any debt on their home. All right. Now, from a rate of return standpoint, we're looking at about 4.74% rate of return. So we have $575,000 in current spendable assets. We're putting $1,500 a month into contributions. We've got a $450,000 house, which means we have a total portfolio value of $1,025,000. Okay? Now, let's go to the next page. Let's look at expenses. Here's where we're going to start putting in some spending. So, we have baseline expenses of $3,000 with inflation of 3.27%. So baseline expenses are utilities, taxes, food, memberships, anything that you're going to continue to spend money on. And we're looking at inflation of 3.27%. That's the 109-year average, okay? Now, it could be higher for the next couple years. It could be lower. I just want to look at this on a national scale. An average on the nation, right? Because your inflation in Los Angeles is different from Waco, Texas, which is different from Bangor, Maine, which is different from Tampa, Florida. But when we're looking at this, what we're trying to get for each individual client is an individualized inflation rate, because it's so important that your inflation rate is not the same as my inflation rate, right? I'm buying diapers. Are you buying diapers? I hope not. Maybe. It depends. You might be. But what I want to look at is, what's your individualized saving rate? Now, let me show you what I mean by that. Let's act like, let's throw in an expense here. Let's say they had a loan for whatever, and that loan was $500 a month. $500 a month, okay? So they're at $3,833. Now it's $4,333. See that? We added the $500. Now the inflation rate's 3.27%. But let's say that the loan doesn't have inflation on it, right? So let's take that to 0. Now, you see how the average inflation rate went down to 2.89? That's because we were able to have an individualized inflation rate for them. We don't want to have 3.27% on a loan. If it doesn't have inflation, we don't need to calculate in. Think about the cash flow. Think about 3% in your 80s and 90s, what that really comes to. We need to have an individualized inflation rate. Again, that's why it's so important to have a comprehensive financial plan. We call it a financial EKG. And in our financial EKG, we look at the 316 principle, right? The 316 principle says this: we have 3 forms of income that we want in retirement. We want a Social Security, we want some sort of guaranteed income, and we might need a source of variable income. Social Security, guaranteed, and variable. That's the 3. So I hope this video has helped. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Bye-bye.